Hello everybody and welcome to Wheel Trouble's Let's Play Battletech. In our last episode, we went ahead and we spoke with Darius regarding how to essentially command this band of merry misfits. And today we're going to go ahead and meet the mech warriors. We might possibly talk to Yang. We'll see how things go. Let's see. So in the barracks, we'll talk to the mech warriors. And Behemoth is out of action here, but let's go ahead. We can still peruse and talk to people and whatnot. So,
Ready for orders.
no, you're not. You're in the med bay for another 19 days. Get over it. Miranda Aguilera. We got her base salary here. She can take 4 hits. Her specialization is Defender, which we see down here in Guts. And we can dismiss her. That's firing somebody. We have skills, so gunnery at 3, she has a plus 7.5 base weapons hit. Piloting, she has 4, which is 10% base melee hit, plus 1 unsteady threshold. And then guts, as we've seen, she's pretty high up there. Gives her 1 health and then minus 1 recoil penalty. That'll come in really handy for things like ballistic weapons. And so that's one of her specializations that Darius was talking about. We could push her all the way up this way if we wanted, or we could pick another skill, have her develop 1, and then push that one up to the 2nd tier as well. So there's quite a few options we have here, and we can always bring somebody up to this 4th level before we actually have them tip up. So that's kind of important to remember as you're deciding to level them up. And ideally, you would want a diverse group of people. So gunnery, for example, determines the chance of 2 hit with ranged weaponry. The higher skill, it counters evasion and things like that a little bit better. Piloting, you have increased in melee, as well as base sprint distance. It also improves the threshold of stability that triggers unsteady. So you're less likely to fall down, and increases the maximum level of evasion possible. Guts, that's your hit points. It says right there, maximum health of the mech warriors. It also reduces the penalty from weapons recoil, and increases the threshold of heat that triggers overheat. So that makes it a little bit easier. Not necessarily a heat sink, but at least keeps you from passing out, things like that. Tactics increases the called shot opportunities, and it also reduces the... doesn't give you more opportunities, I should say. It gives you a better likelihood of making your called shots. It also reduces the penalty for indirect fire and improves the minimum range of weaponry. So there's all of that. And right now we have 800 XP to work with. We could give her some more tactics, which would improve her called shots a little bit, or we could let her continue expanding on guts. I'm going to go ahead for this game and let her specialize in what she's been working on. Right now she's got Bulwark, which is passive, meaning we don't have to trigger it, it's always on. And she gains Guarded when she sits stationary, which is a 50% damage reduction to ranged attacks on the front and side. Rear attacks are still going to hit like nobody's business, and there's not much armor back there, so you want to try to keep the enemy in front of you. Let's look at her service record here. This is where you actually get to know your mech warriors. 1 deployment, no mech kills, no other kills, 1 injury taken, no ejections. She's been with the company technically 1 day, and if you guys haven't seen the save file, but we've only been a company for 1 day. Miranda Aguilera grew up on the Lyran Commonwealth. She was a tall kid who made a name for herself as the girl you don't mess with. At 18, she signed up with a small-time mercenary company to feed her growing wanderlust. Miranda went undefeated in her crew's drinking games. Woman after my own heart. And in the brawling that usually followed, so she could fight too. When her fellow mercenaries turned to piracy, she was in. When they turned over a new leaf, she was out looking for a tougher crew. Her attributes, and I should have read these first, she's brave, military, Lyran. Lyran is someone born in the Lyran Commonwealth. Inner sphere, a spacer, meaning she's made it home for herself in space, low gravity, and she's happy being a criminal. Let's go ahead and move on from her. Decker.
Waiting for orders.
Amir Kowalski. And again, we can see he doesn't have any specializations yet. This is something to point out. He is technically what's known as a recruit. He's a complete wild card. We can have him do anything we necessarily want, and we have 2,000 XP to work with here. We can start by balancing him out. We already have the defender in Behemoth, who is fairly good with guts. Decker was piloting the Spider in our earlier one. I think it'd be kind of fun to have him work on his tactics, giving him things like sensor lock and things of that nature. The sensor lock will select target within sensor range to reveal it until the end of the current round and remove 2 of its evasive charges. Essentially, this is going to make it easier for our guys to hit long range. That's going to be handy to have, especially if he's going to be piloting scouts. So his minimum range decreases a little bit, which is nice, and he gets a -1 indirect fire penalty. Let's go ahead and do that for him. We'll give him tactics.
Mech Warrior training complete.
So he is now, you can see his specialization now is Tactician, and his salary went up on us. That's okay. It'll be worth it in the end. And let's go ahead and check his service record, get to know this guy. 1 deployment, no mech kills but 2 other kills, no injuries, no ejections. He's Nobility, Mech Warrior, Capellan. He's an officer, command experience even. Ooh. Military, wait, how is he command experience and then has had no real skills? Oh well, probably digging in too much. Spacer and Inner Sphere. A lot of our guys are going to be Inner Sphere. I don't think we'll find any clan guys, and Periphery we might find because we're pretty close to that. Amir Kowalski was brought up as a loyal scion of House Liao and sent to a military academy as soon as he was of age. There, he did not disappoint his family name and graduated on time. After graduation, by family request, he was assigned as a naval lieutenant aboard a Capellan Confederation dropship. He served without particular distinction and was eventually transferred to a Mech Warrior unit, which suited his abilities much better. After another tour of duty, in which he developed the motto, "Any battle you can walk away from is a victory," he decided he wanted to pursue his own goals and become a mercenary. And here we are. Glitch.
Good to go.
Glitch is my favorite, and oh my goodness, I am not pronouncing Jessica's last name. Chernovskaya? Chernovskaya? Jessica. Jessie. Anyway, specialization gunner, and you can see her gunnery up here. Gunnery, we kind of talked about, that's going to be how good she is with ranged weapons. Give her the LRMs, especially with this multi-target feature. Multi-target's a lot of fun. It's just like the name implies, you can shoot multiple people in one round. So if you're trying to soften them up, and let's say you can get a great hit with your short-range weapons up close, but you can still long shot the other guy, and you've got plenty of heat threshold, you can take it with her. She's wonderful in that sense. Let's go straight to her service record. 1 deployment, 1 mech kill, 1 other kill, no injuries, no ejections, and yeah, 1 day with company. Brave, criminal, just like Behemoth. Federal, this one's kind of a new one, so let's take a look what that means. Born in the Federated Sun space. Okay. And Inner Sphere. Federated Sun's part of the Inner Sphere, so that's kind of a no-duh. Jessica had a peaceful and ordinary middle-class childhood in the heart of the Federated Suns. But even in the heart of civilization, you're not safe from a glitch. It was a garbled bioscan that got Jessica committed to a maximum security prison and changed her life. After 10 years, her case was reopened, the evidence re-examined, and her name cleared. But it was far too late for the kid Glitch had been. She'd learned skills on the inside, and she applied them on the outside. Killing for money is surprisingly easy and lucrative, and elite killers can command high prices for their discretion and effectiveness. Very good to have in a mercenary unit. And unfortunately for her skills, there's nothing we can level up really except for her piloting at this time. It'd be nice for melee, but again, we're going to play this game to try to factor in what they're already good at first and max that out. Medusa.
Waiting for orders.
Not my favorite pilot. You guys haven't encountered him yet much. You will. I personally just feel as if he's lacking personality. So, Mohammed Benitez. Anyway, Mohammed. He's a recruit, so we can have him specialize. We have a defender, tactician, gunner. We really just don't have anybody geared towards piloting yet, so let's give him that evasive movement here, which generates an extra evasive charge from movement actions up to its maximum. So it'll make him harder to hit, at least. And gives a better unsteady threshold, so he should be able to stand through just about anything. He'll be fun to put into a brawler,
Training
give him a bunch of
confirmed,
short range weapons. You know, we might have some fun with him. We might go ahead and try to build him a mech that has nothing but the small lasers and machine guns. You guys will find out what those are for later. Just essentially making sure he packs a punch. A very sparky punch. Anyway, he has now specialized in piloting. And let's see his service record here. And he's not really been out for anything. He's cautious. He's an officer from the periphery, a Rigan, military, mech warrior, and a technician. Mohammed Benitez was born on one of Mekdur's lunar colonies and subsequently traveled with his prospector parents all over the system before moving to Katinka. There he attended a local technical school to augment the knowledge he'd picked up while growing up. He spent some time working as a tech on his parents' industrial mechs. Industrial mechs, for those of you that aren't aware and this isn't highlighted, those are things like forestry mechs, which are giant battle mech sort of looking things that don't have any real armor, with chainsaws for arms, things like that. Power suits, and in theory we actually even have those now, very light duty, but they do exist. Eventually, craving more excitement, he hitched a ride on a mercenary dropship, where he soon talked his way into a battle mech cockpit. He's never looked back. So there we go. That's Medusa, and we'll get a chance to get to know him a little better as well, because in the next round, depending on who heals first, either Behemoth or myself will still have to sit out. It's probably going to be me who has to sit out. I'll probably have to send Behemoth in. It'll be everybody but me. And that's the cool thing about this game, is unlike MechWarrior where you have to survive everything, you don't. You can send in a team without you. You command everything, but you don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Let's see. What would I want to focus on? Being a commander, tactics would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? And we can go straight to it, too. Alright. We'll go ahead and confirm that. 2 levels up here. And the cool thing is, when you actually look at our service record, this is everything that we put in earlier. So you can always go back to see what your character was that you had said you were going to play. And realistically, that could pretty well cover it. You can see I've taken 2 injuries. I've got 2 mech kills, 2 other kills, so I did the majority of the killing that first round. And this little chevron here shows that I'm the commander of this little band of merry men and women. And it says that I'm a recruit, but that's obviously changing the minute we commit this to this change here.
Training complete.
Now I'm a regular. So we'll see how that goes up as we go on. And let's see. I don't want to get into conversations yet with anyone. We've got the mech bays, we've got Yang, the star map, Sumeyer, I'm sorry. Captain's quarters. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a quick look there. We've got finances. This is really boring stuff, so I'm only going to glance at it. I'm not going to explain it. If you can't read a P&L, you probably have a few years to grow up with. Remember, kids, stay in school. Even though it's basic math, it matters. You really can't get anywhere if you can't read a P&L. Reputation. So far, nobody loves us, but nobody hates us. I'm good with that. If someone hates you, they're probably going to either send people after you, bump up what they charge you at the shops, things like that. Customize company. Here we can change our name. So right now it's Strikes Marauders. Well, the channel's name is Wheel Trouble, so let's have some fun with this. Wheels trouble. There we go. New company name, and now we need a crest. Got the dragon. Weird skull thing. Shrike's cutie mark is kind of a circle thing with a claw, so let's see if we can't find at least something with a claw on it. I like all the different like Celtic imagery I see here. This one's kind of neat. Looks kind of something like you'd expect from the Lunar Republic. That's a good go-to if we need to. Somewhat pony-esque. I like this one too, that my mouse is over. Don't know if you guys can see it. It's kind of shield with the 4 crescents. I kind of like this one though. We'll go ahead and keep this one. Kind of reflects the Pegasus nature with the wings sticking up and everything else. So we'll go with that. And then we need to go ahead and change these. I love how for the modeling they have little models here in little bottles of paint and a brush. So anyway, let's see what we can do on the primary colors here. We have dark blues, purples, grays. Weird I kind of like that. Primary color though really probably ought to be more that blurple color I usually use for everything. This blue seems to be fairly close. It's not perfect, but it's about what we can get. Let's see, secondary changes around the top here, so we can bring that more into the purple range. That looks good. Shame we can't spin that. Now for the accents. We're just going to go straight for silver for this. That doesn't look terrible. But we also have this version of silver as well. I don't mind it. I think it gives it a nice weathered look. Let's go with that. And there we go. We have modified ourselves. You can see the logos change here. This is kind of neat. I don't know if don't remember honestly if I showed this last week or not. We've got the dog bed, my little cubby up here. So there's that. Wheels trouble. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and call this an episode. I'll see you guys next time when we go ahead and explore our mech bay, talk to Yang, and we're going to start exploring the repairs and refits from that last mission that we know we've got to deal with. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Wheel Trouble out.